Finally, welcome to the first set of the AASL Season 2. I am J2, I'm joined by Pest News.
Hello guys, we're finally underway.
Just a little Smite technical difficulties, just usual low-res stuff. But we finally made it through picks and bans, and hopefully through this game with no other issues.
Oh yeah, hopefully there's no server crashes, knocking on wood. I'm not on stream.
So we are seeing a Syl in the mid lane versus a Tiamat, since I know we missed some of these picks here. The Soul versus the Apollo with the Horus Ganesh. Nemesis versus Erlang in the jungle, and an Artio Chalk solo lane. Should be pretty interesting. What's really standing out to you, Pestnus?
I really do like the Chalk and Artio because they're both early game pressure gods, so there's going to be a lot of action in solo lane early on.
For sure. Speaking of pressure, I really like the draft from Band of Brothers in this dual lane, the Horus Soul, both. Then we're seeing the Ganesh dash in early, Apollo trying to Mez here, and the Horus will fall early. Quick trade though for Dr. Toddles on the Soul early for Bloods here in the dual lane.
Yeah, support for a carry, that is a really good trade for Band of Brothers.
For sure. Not as much action going on here in the mid lane. The Tiamat should have the early pressure going against the Scylla, who really struggles kind of up until that level 12. Erlang with the blink, the knock up, the pin onto the Nemesis. See if anything will capitalize here. Looks like Erlang will retreat for now towards his side of the jungle.
This is why I really like this Erlang pick. Early game, he gets pressure. He has so much CC and a lot of damage.
For sure. We see both the junglers opting for the Eye of the Jungle into the Mace start. Really see how that works out. The attack speed for their AA-ness should be interesting.
Yeah, and it looks like they're holding the right tongue pretty well on Brother's side.
For sure, see another fight sparking by this left XP camp here. Ganesh at about half health, Soul at about half health. No deaths yet, though.
But that is a lot of pressure for Band of Brothers because they got them solo. Oh my gosh.
Apollo having to back up now. Soul and Horus really coming online at this level 2 and 3 early.
With their AA-ness?
Yes, with their AA-ness, Pest News. Artio poked out here a little bit. See Soul sitting in the jungle. Nemesis trying to invade this purple buff. Trying to put this Apollo behind early. Make his global ultimate a little less effective. Silence coming out from Ganesh here. Tiamat rotating over from that mid lane.
This is a big
Erlang with the pin and the knockup. Tiamat leaping in. Nemesis super low. One hit. Looks like she might get out here. Oh my goodness! The Ganesh with the snipe giving the kill to Rubberman on the Tiamat.
That was a good trade. They got the purple, but they made the call, rotated on over, and got that pressure back.
For sure. 2-1 early lead for Firelink 5 in the kill department. Scylla's still level 4.
Looking at the Erlon, he looks like he wants to gank somewhere. I think he's just going to go back and try to secure that red for Tiamat. And that's exactly what he's planning on doing.
Some boxing over here in the solo lane. Don't know if it'll be enough for any kills yet. Chalk looking to invade this blue with an early level lead on the Artio. Chalk traditionally a lane bully. See, Artio does get it though. The Chalk ult comes out onto the Nemesis. Them only level 3. Don't know if she can really do much here though.
I think that ult was just more to secure his escape than anything.
Sure.
But that does give the Artio some room to come back into this. She can now box with him, keeping up in levels.
For sure. Definitely great that they secure the blue there. Back over to the dual lane side. Horus slightly poked out at about 3/4 health. Apollo Ganesh will create pressure. Again, going to look for that left side camp.
Well, interesting to look at. That Sol does have the ult up, whilst Apollo does not yet.
Sure. What do we think of this jungle matchup? See the Erlang with an early lead onto the Nemesis. You think he'll be able to capitalize on it in some of these lanes?
I think he'll be able to capitalize on a lot of early pressure, but with Nemesis's ability to take out frontliners late game, that is going to become highly valuable to get rid of the Chalk and the Ganesha from your backline.
For sure. Farming right now, looks like Firelink will get their own purple buff. This time, Chalk very poked out with the stun from the Ardio. Will we see a kill here? Trying to cripple won't be enough as Erlang's over with the pin. Will we see a knockup? Ardio's forced to retreat. The taunt by the Erlang. Really low here, trying to heal. Looking for a root. Trapped in between the Chalk and the Erlang. The dash. Ardio will be safe unless that pin. It won't.
And Chalk did not have enough mana for that hammer throw quite yet. He gets enough to clear wave, so he gets that pressure back.
We won't see Ardio back here. Erlang sitting around the tower line, maybe looking to mink past, hit a quick pin for the kill.
And Chalk with a TP. He also just got Transcendent, so look at that to get stacked. That is going to be interesting for the heal.
That's for sure. We see a Horus ult onto the Erlang that just stole the blue buff. No engage after that, though, from Band of Brothers. Ardio just now getting that back off.
I think it's interesting to look at how the jungles have started off. Whilst Erlon is feeling more wanting the cooldown, this Nemesis went into the Crusher, which is just such a good power spike.
For sure, it gives her the attack speed, too, to get more auto attacks off. We are seeing Nemesis did have a slight lead. Some fighting over these mid camps. Is stunned by the Ganesha. Silence, so Nemesis cannot dash away. Tiamat leaping in. Nem will be out now, though.
Yeah, she is a very safe jungler with that double dash and shield, so investing too much into her can be a very risky play.
For sure. Definitely interested to see how the Nemesis fares late game into some of these gods like the Chalk and the Ganesha.
And the team model back right now with lower mana, but I'm interested also in the mid lane matchup because they're both going double pen, it looks like.
Nemesis coming in here with an ult and just deleting Kiki Jiki on the Apollo. Not even enough time to react. Great play by the Nemesis to create some pressure for their soul.
Yeah, that creates so much dual lane pressure right there. You get rid of the Apollo, and the Sol can just burn tower.
Firelink coming over with the pin here. You see the taunt come out, trying to 1v2 Soul, just deleting with the ultimate. Be another kill for Dr. Toddles. And this Soul is set up great to run this game. Apollo with the ult, Ganesh with the one. Horus trying to knock up and just get away. Tiamat even coming over with the slow. Scylla come over, not doing much though.
That needed to happen. You needed to slow down that Sol. She was getting fed.
Especially with this Ring of Hecate start. Just such a great item for a power spike. Checking over on Chalk, who will invade the blue buff once again onto Ardio.
The Ring of Hecate also allows for a lot more sustain on a very sustain-heavy god. You get a lot of that heal on the basic attacks.
For sure. Definitely interested to see if any anti-heal will be picked up, especially on the side of Band of Brothers. We see a Spear of Deso start for the Scylla, not opting for the Divine Ruin. Be interesting to see what they do here with their build paths.
And just a good job on the Apollo for keeping levels with the Sol. After that whole skirmish and all the purple buff invades, it's actually very impressive that he's getting that much farm.
Sure, see some fighting over in mid. Nemesis will just get out, uses the beads though. Could become crucial for the next taunt that Erling has up, or the Ganesha stun.
And it looks like they're going to try invades, but the timers are just not right. I think they might have thought there were some timers that were, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Different than their own. So,
See Nemesis coming over to fight this Chalk. He will ult to try to save himself for the silence. The rain come out for the heal. Baby tried to escape, but it doesn't look like much will happen. The Nemesis ult comes out, and now it's just a matter of time before he falls. And I am Matt will pick up the kill with this Nemesis.
That was a really good trade for him, though. He wastes a lot of time, but he did get rid of the ult.
He did. And that's kind of what happens for a solo laner that starts off a damage item like the Transcendence, just an easier pick than someone like this Artio that started the breastplate.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like he's going into Runeforge, so he'll have a lot of sustain, but he will not be able to take too many big hits.
For sure. And with that Chalk dying, the Band of Brothers will send 3 to secure their blue buff. But Firelink is getting active once again on these invades, taking the purple from the Soul, trying to keep her behind this Apollo.
Just to point out, he did switch his item now. He is going into a shield instead of the Runeforged Hammer.
For sure. Looks like an early gold pull by the Band of Brothers with this Soul. Seems like they might be able to get it. I don't think Firelink even has an idea. This gold will just be free to try to catch them up a little bit. We saw a 2,000 gold swing right there.
The good thing for the Firelink 5 is that the Scylla did burn the ult when she did not have to, as there was no contest.
Yes, it'll be interesting to see if a fight will break out. Erling maybe trying to capitalize on the no ultimate for the Scylla. He does have beads up though, so the taunt might not be as effective. Horus sitting still in this dual lane, kind of stealing the farm from the Soul, allowing Apollo to get ahead. We are seeing Ganesh rotate over.
Well, even with that Gold Fury pull, Firelink 5 is still ahead in gold. So they are farming the map very effectively.
Yes, they are. See, just about 700 gold leads still. It was more, but Banner Brothers going to have to pick up some of this farm if they want to stay in this game and not get set too far behind. I don't know if every gold will be as free as that last one.
No, now they know to ward. They're going to be a lot more careful.
For sure, we did see a mid-tower fall already for the Band of Brothers. Seeing a lot of just jungle pressure from the Firelink 5. And just invade after invade has really been the story for this game. Seeing a Pyromancer pull now, trying to trade the objectives to make up for the Gold Fury that they lost. Artio is aware though. See if she can maybe get the Steel Chalk with the ult to try to secure and silence. And the Firelink 5 will pick up that Gold Fury. We see Nemesis coming with the ult onto the Chalk. Artio looking low. Tiamat with the knock-up and will secure the kill. Scylla ulting will kill King Kerbis on the Chalk. Ganesh trying to zone the Scylla off the back. Nemesis looking low. Erlang will pick up the kill on the I Am Matt.
That is a massive loss for the Band of Brothers. 2 dead. You only trade out 1 plus Firelink. Get the Pyromancer.
Yeah, a really great trade here. We're now seeing 2,300 gold lead. It was just 700 for Firelink. Really expanding these objectives are going to start hurting the Band of Brothers, especially with engagements like that.
Mm-hmm. And just a sneaky fact, that Apollo now has a 2-level lead over the Sol, which I do not know how that came about, but he has clearly been taking all of the neutral farm in that left side jungle.
For sure. I mean, we only really see one person for Band of Brothers that's even, that being I Am Mad on this Nemesis, which has really proven to be effective. Actually has a slight level lead. Everyone else for Firelink, though, is ahead. I don't think they're really worried about this Nemesis right now.
Mm. And they're all ahead in the builds. Looking at the Scylla to the Tiamat. Tiamat's already starting his 4th item, well, 3rd item.
Erlang taunting Nemesis. We see a one-on-one jungle fight. The knock-up. Nemesis looking low. Does have the ult onto Erlang. Will dash through, surviving for now. Here a blink by the Erlang Shen and will auto down I Am Matt in his own jungle. And when the only person you have on your team is ahead still gets soloed, not looking great early. Artio also.
That early pressure coming from the Erlon, very good at the 1v1, early to mid. I'll be interested to see how that turns in the late game.
Yes, I really like the draft by the Firelink 5. I think their team fight is going to be outstanding, especially if they're fighting from ahead with someone like Chalk and Tiamat. Going to be very hard to deal with for this Band of Brothers squad.
A big thing for Firelink 5 is they're gonna have to position really well, just because that Scylla ult can insta-melt a backliner, and the Sol will just tear some frontliners, especially if you add in that Nemesis ult.
Yes, for sure. Interested to see with the kind of double magical backline here if the Nemesis and the Horus will be enough player damage on the physical side to really kind of swing Firelink away from going a little more magical heavy on the protections.
Especially since it is a Erlon support. I mean, not an Erlon support. It's a Horus support. He's going to be very tanky, but he's not going to be building any damage items, really.
Sure. Arlong Shen here going into a Berserker shield. See a CAD shield from the Chalk to increase the healing of him and the Arlong Shen. Still, the anti-heal picked up by the Soul. Not really anyone else on the side of Band of Brothers that could be hurting them.
Mm-hmm. And then there's also the anti-heal on the Tiamat, and that seems to be all the anti-heal in the game so far.
Sure. Looks like we could have a dance for these oracles. Maybe the Gold Fury that just spawned. See a lot of red, a lot of Firelink 5 on that left side. They're going to start pulling this. Horus knows. Chalk trying to zone.
Solo's a little bit late on the rotation, so not going to be able to contest it. That'd be a 5v4 when you're behind. Not a good plan.
Firelink just demolished that Gold Fury. They shredded it. And not enough time to react from Band of Brothers. Nemesis now are trying to retreat in their own jungle. We see all 5 members playing in between this tier 1 and tier 2 of this dual lane. Maybe looking to pick this tower. Soul will go into the Disapparate. Horus with the knock up. The Ganesh ult comes out. Chalk ult into this tier 2. Soul out. Soul ult trying to zone. Looks like no deaths yet. That tier 1 will fall in the dual lane.
Yes, and doesn't look like there's too much trade. Only one that really took too much damage was the RDO. She's going to go back to lane, hopefully try to stop this Oni wave, because you do not want all your tier 1s down already. That is a massive ball on the side of Firelink 5.
We're seeing this gold lead now expand. Always we're seeing a little fighting here now by the red buff. The taunt on the Scylla. She will go down to the Erlang. Chalk spinning in. Horus looking super low. They're still going to chase this. Oh, they're turning. RDO in the backline. The Nemesis ult. Nemesis will pick up the Tiamat. RDO down just trying to retreat.
So far, that is a mid laner for a mid laner, but this could change with these junglers fighting the jungle.
Kiki Shiki will pick up I Am Matt. RDO still very low. The Horus ult will come in, trying to heal and take out this Ganesha, who's a little greedy by the speed buff all alone.
It doesn't seem like there's enough of an effort to get him, though, so he will get out with half.
Again, another fight going the way of the Firelink 5. So they're pulling the Pyromancer now. Just objectives, invades has been the story for the Firelink 5. Kill differential, not much, but we really see that coming true in the gold difference.
Mm-hmm. And it's really interesting to look at this Nemesis build, because now Atlantis Bow doesn't have that penetration, percent pen, that it used to have, but she looks like she's going for more crit. But she's not going to be hitting those frontliners as hard as you would like a Nemesis to be.
Very interesting. We see the Jotuns with the glyphs, the new glyphs that have come out. What do you really think of these new items, Pest?
The Jotuns one I really do like. There's a few of them I don't see much value in, but that is definitely one. If you look at the RDO, she's probably going to go into the breastplate one, which I think is probably my favorite one in the game, to be honest.
See some boxing over here in the solo lane, but both are just Basically hitting each other with pillows at this point.
Hitting a brick wall with pillows. Although that chalk is not that tanky, only with one defense item plus the Runeforge sustain on it.
Yeah, seeing a very heavy damage build from the chalk. It looks like they might be going into a Heartseeker or a... Oh, they switched it to the Mace Tree. Okay.
I bet you that's either going to be Jotuns or Berserkers. I think he's going to want, yeah, he's going into the Jotuns
Interesting.
for the cooldown. And Chalk works really well with a damage build because of the healing and the fact that it has insane scaling.
That's for sure. Seeing some more pressure from this Erlang Shen like we've seen all game. This time out of the Ardio in the solo lane. Maybe looking for a pick. The Tiamat comes over. Everyone's over here now. Ardio trying to dash away. Don't know if it'll be enough. We see the knock-up come through. The Chalk ult come through. Horus trying to get over there to save his solo laner. Now he'll be taunted. The Ganesh ult comes out. And that will be another pickup for the Erlang Shen. This time out of the Horus. Apollo ult again on the left side. Nemesis all alone here underneath the tier 2.
Gets away safely. RDO, though, is still low, so they're going to have a hard time contesting this Fire Giant if it...
Yeah, this Fire Giant is going to be free once again for the Firelink 5. Where it looks like the soul, someone might just try to get a steal here. I mean, that's really all they can hope for. Soul comes through. The Tiamat looking very low. Leaps over the firewall, though. Nemesis coming in. Everyone on Firelink kind of low, except for the tanks. They will have to disengage off this Fire Giant.
That Soul just got burned, too. That is a massive loss. I think the Fire Giant might have been low enough. Oh, my gosh.
King Kerbis will pick up Sergeant Miller with the Chalk. Soul will try to disapparate away. Horse all coming through. Try to peel for this Soul. Erlang looking very low now.
First did so much to him. It is insane how much that Soul is hitting for right now. But just not getting the follow-up because she keeps getting the Tiamat and that Erlon solo.
For sure. This Erlang Shen has really been doing work for the Firelink 5. 5-1-4 now.
Mm-hmm. And it's just an added thing with Chalk doesn't have much CC, so having an Erlon in the jungle adds a lot of CC that you lack without having the solo have that much.
For sure, we've seen a 3-level lead now for the Ganesh over the Horus, a 2-level lead for Apollo, 2-level lead for Tiamat, and now they're right back on this Fire Giant, and I can't really blame them. No Scylla ult to try to steal, really only the Nemesis with an ult, but not going to do much for this Fire. Ganesh ult coming out, Ardio at half health again. The stun by the Ganesh, Erlang onto the Ardio, and she will fall. It's now 5v4. See Horus on the Fire Giant. Firelink will pick it up though. Erlang on the back out of this Soul. She's at half health already. Can she get the separate off? She will. Kiki Jiki kills Iana Matt in the back line. Now a 5v3 for the Firelink. 5+ Fire Giant. Soul looking low. No to separate up. Erlang with the Mink and will pick up Dr. Toddles. 5v2. Apollo will get Mazamune in the back. 5-for-4 trade plus Fire Giant. Just Horus left to defend these towers and phoenixes.
Yeah, that fight was set up just from that Stella missing a lot of her roots.
Now the Tiamat picking up the Horus, and this is going to be game here for the Firelink 5, I believe. Everyone pretty much full health, but the Erlang Shen, and yes, here we are. Ardio up, gonna do her best, but I don't think it'll be enough. Ganesh ult comes out, and game 1 will go to the Firelink 5.
They had such a good time in that mid game. They struggled a little bit in the dual lane on the early game, but they really won that game in the mid game team fight where Tiamat rotated over to trade out that purple.
Yes, for sure. We will see you all in game number 2.
We are back. Pretty interesting game from both teams. Quite a showing for the first game of the night, the first game of the season.
Yeah, definitely a very interesting match. Just to start out with, I really like the way the Firelink Five kind of lived up to their namesake. They grouped up as five and they took control of that match. It was a definitely very dominant performance by the members of the Firelink Five.
The jungler from them as well definitely picked up the pace toward the middle half of that game. Erling is definitely a very strong character for doing what he was doing, which was running around the map trying to solo anybody, catch people out. Nemesis had a hard time getting any of her jungle at all in that uh, match. And come mid to late when he had Kins, a lot more pen, could solo even thanks.
Definitely, you did see when Ganesh and Erling were on that RDO, she just kind of got melted at the end of the game. And yeah, I think Band of Brothers, they just took that one fight by the Fire Giant. They should have given it up. They should have said, you can have this Fire Giant. It's all good. But they couldn't let it go, and that's eventually what caused the game to end.
Definitely. I would like to see something a bit more versatile for the support role. While I do like Horus, and especially into that draft, I feel like they lacked a little bit of value from the pick. I believe they actually got first blooded in lane when Soul and Horus typically is a bit more of a pressure heavy comp for duo at least.
Yeah, and the First Blood kind of went the way of the Firelink 5 because they were able to get that extra gold.
Yep.
So I don't know. I pretty much just think that yeah, if they did have probably a more aggressive duo lane, or if they realize that hey, we're losing this first wave, we got to back off, or else they're gonna hit two and they're gonna engage on us and kill us. I just think it's that a little bit of awareness that just it didn't really click.
Horus is definitely one of those supports that if you don't get going early, he just feels very hard to play at all.
Mhm.
Toward the latter half of the game, especially with that character being such an early game focused character, it's very rough. So would like to see something more from there, and probably take away any form of playmaking jungles for the side of Firelink 5. Erlang
Yep.
more than likely needs to go, maybe a Kali, like characters that they might have seen him scrim with.
Yeah, definitely similar characters, especially in that jungle. I did just to give a little bit of props to Band of Brothers. I did really like that Gold Fury call. Definitely just knowing that hey, if we all group up, we can get this Gold Fury down. If they took a little bit more calls like that, if they grouped up a little bit more tightly and utilized their gods kits to their full extent, I think they would have done a little bit better this game, for sure.
Definitely.
They definitely have what it takes to beat this team, but let's see if they can do it in game number two. We're not actually starting for number two. I was just saying, let's see if we can.
Oh,
What do you think
that's
about the damage chalk in that solo lane?
Transcendence first item is definitely something that's been done before in that character, both in ranked and occasionally in SPL when he's been picked. It's a great way to accommodate the fact that he has a very poor late game. Just giving that character much more damage late game helps a lot. His laning phase is also pretty potent even when you're building full damage. You get up to 100 protections off of the two at max stacks, and especially with the buff recently, that's I think every 6 seconds at max cooldown.
Oh yeah, definitely had some really good sustain there too. Just in CAD shield was really good, and just in general, chalk is definitely very very good in lane, and he did make an impact in that game. Uh, Apollo, I thought was a really really good pick for the Band of Brothers. No, Firelink 5, sorry, Firelink 5. Seeing as they did seem to have a certain play style, which is group up as five and take this buff, and it certainly did seem to work. The pressure was on Band of Brothers that entire match, and that Apollo definitely was a really good ADC pick to round out their draft.
They had quite a lot more synergy. It felt. They're also a team that has played together for the most part. I believe outside of this jungler for the entirety of last season. So seeing that synergy still together, very nice to see.
Yeah, I think if we saw a little bit more of the Horus stuns and then a little bit more follow-ups from the Scylla or the Soul, we definitely those team fights could have turned a little bit more peel. Getting that Erlang on your back line is kind of a death sentence, especially with how many kills he had and how far in his build he was. So Yeah, just a couple things the Band of Brothers need to fix. It's not a death sentence for them, and they can definitely win game two, I believe. Mhm.
Again, just would like to reiterate because I would like to see this next game. That jungler does need to be taken, not necessarily just off of Earthling, but playmaking junglers in general that can play the map solo per se. Again, coming to mind, Kali, maybe. Let's see, Kenazot is definitely another character that comes to mind when I'm thinking of just junglers that can solo, whether it be another jungler or a mid,
Mhm.
just people that have very good pressure in that regard. Take him off one of
Camazotz,
these high pressure junglers and might have a lot more space to breathe.
yeah, Camazotz is really strong right now. That's definitely a really good pick. Uh, I don't know, maybe some more team fight ultimates from Band of Brothers. I mean, I know they have the Horus ultimate, but they use a Guardian with the huge ultimate, I guess. You know, like the Ganesha ultimate was definitely game changer in those team fights.
Lots of value off of that pick as well.
Mhm. Yeah, just the shred on the two and silence, and the shred on the alt was very
I believe
interesting.
the two gives protections, not shred, but that's also
Yeah,
very potent for keeping your backline alive. And
that is
also
right.
shutting down this nemesis, it's a very strong counter into that character.
Mhm.
The ult though, I believe is up to 60 prot shred at max
Yeah,
rank. It's definitely a lot onto these tanks.
you definitely feel it as a tanky character when you step through that Ganesha ult. You suddenly feel a little bit more like a mid lane mage. But yeah. Uh,
So still waiting here until the next game. Probably going to throw it to a break here. We'll see you guys right when we get to pick some bets.
peace.
Oh,
Uh,
and we are back into these picks and bans. Got it right this time, I believe.
yeah, we're gonna start to see some bans. Started off another Odin ban from Band of Brothers.
Definitely just making sure that Soul Lane is in check, keeping any picks out of the way. Heim banned away, target ban. I would assume again toward Bandit Brothers. Just making sure that there's no comfort here for either side.
Ooh,
Speaking of comfort, actually, Erlang finally getting banned away. Glad they say they glad to see. Excuse me, they took the advice.
I want to see King Curtis's Odin now. I want to see what he's hiding. You know, it's been banned for a while, so I don't know. Could be nasty. We got a tier ban from Firelink 5. Yeah, probably another target ban, but yeah, these players have some interesting picks if they are target bans.
Uh, Firelink opting with these target bans. Clearly, they're not too afraid of anything that's in meta right now, outside of maybe per se Atlas. Which, speaking of, that is. Oh, they are going to ban it away here. I spoke
Oh
too
no.
soon.
100% ban
Uh,
rate Atlas. Yeah.
they do seem very comfortable with a lot of the picks they're playing right now, though. They don't necessarily have to be meta. I would say, off of the last draft come to mind, I think they had mostly meta picks, like Ganesha, Tiamat, Erlang per se as well. Sold getting first pick here yet again.
I think
Uh,
this is a pretty good pick for the ADC. Didn't obviously didn't win the game, but she did her damage. So definitely, if it's a comfort pick, I like it. When we
Definitely a
see,
very potent ADC. Set and Morgan picked up here on Firelink's side.
ooh, uh, yeah, Set is a god in Smite. He's been around for a while. He's had his ups and downs, and his ups are very high, and his downs are he's just A tier. But he's a good god overall, and wow, if this is going in the jungle, I'm pretty scared for Band of Brothers.
Very interesting pick indeed. I would say he's probably one of the most volatile jungles that has ever been added into Smite. Like you said, very high highs, very low lows. You either like see him every single game or no games at all. Tiamat and Arthur picked up over here on the side of Band of Brothers. Arthur, Bluestone comes into meta. Definitely one of the first gods I think of. Uh, anything ability focused makes that character absolutely potent. You've seen it with Glad Shield. You've seen it with old renditions of like I forget what the item was called, but season 7, season 8, we had Bluestone again at the early stages where that character's still very strong. Haven't seen him for a while.
Definitely,
Just
definitely glad to see him back. We see a Khepri on the side of Firelink 5. maybe we're gonna see some executes picked up from Band of Brothers, but yeah, the Capri pick on this on this support definitely a really good pick right now in the meta.
Very potent indeed. Ganesha is open for the counter pick here on Band of Brothers. Very strong pick to deal with him, but Kepri's probably picked in here to make sure the site can just freely roam the backline. That is one of the very few things that character has trouble with, is just getting nuked right off the bat.
Yeah, there's that Thanatos ban for the Kepri, and Bats ban as well. Definitely a really good alt. And from Band of Brothers, we see the Chalk ban. They don't want King Kerbis back on that pick. And the Apollo ban, they don't want their ADC on that pick. So it looks like Firelink 5 is going to switch things up.
I do like this approach, just forcing them to draft completely separately from what they did last game, trying to force new picks to maybe shake it up. Cyrus locked in here for Firelink 5, a very oppressive solo laner at the moment.
How do you like
Multiple
that matchup?
different builds, and quite a
Yeah,
decent
sorry, go
matchup as
ahead.
well, like you said.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. My bad. We see the Fenrir coming out from Band of Brothers. Maybe looking towards a little bit. Oh, Fenrir Mercury. Looks like this Fenrir is going to go into support, and this Mercury is going to go into the jungle. Definitely
Again,
a very strong jungler.
yes, again, a very pressure-focused support. Last time we had the Horus, didn't find too much value in it. Opting more so for the Fenrir, which is going, I possibly say, all in terms of pressure, looking to just nuke one person. It's an interesting pick too with this Kepri. You can realistically even just pick up this Kepri and nuke him with the Soul and Tiamat. You have quite a lot of DPS for that. Mercury too, actually.
I personally really like this Medusa pick to round it out for the Firelink 5. Captain Medusa is actually a pretty aggressive lane in duo lane once it starts, and we'll see who gets that wave pressure, and we'll see who'll be able to take over. Yep.
Right.
And yeah, go ahead.
Oh, excuse me. We'll be right back coming into the game very shortly.
This is now game 2 of our first set of the new season for the AASL. See, the Firelink 5 are now up 1-0 in this best of 3 over the Band of Brothers. And a lot of different picks here, except for the Soul for Dr. Toddles. What are you most interested in, Pest News?
I am really interested in the jungler matchup. That is a very interesting jungler to watch because it always seems like the set either does nothing all game or absolutely runs the game.
Yeah, so very interested to see how this set performs as well. We did see their jungler last game play very aggressive and deep into the jungle of Band of Brothers. See if he looks to do more of the same here. And if the Mercury will have an easier time dealing with it than the Nemesis did last game.
Can I just say how spoiled we've been with how aggressive the matchups in solo lane have been? Because I'm loving it so far. These two are just wanting to play it hard.
Yes, very lucky indeed. I mean, both matchups have been fun to watch. See the Fenrir leaping in here, misses. Kepri pull the Fenrir, quick dash by the Medusa, and the kill for Kiki-Jiki. Onto the Fenrir, another early first blood into the dual lane. Kind of a repeat of what we saw in game 1.
Just without the trade out kill, so that is going to be a big snowball, especially with how effectively we saw Firelink 5 farm up that carry role.
Sure, both solos now looking about half health. Do you see Fenrir didn't even hit level 2 off that first minion wave? Definitely going to set him very far behind. See Mercury coming over quickly onto this Osiris. Will stun. Will one. Osiris very low. Will get the tether off. King Arthur looking to finish off the kill. Don't know if it'll be enough. Set will teleport in and pick up the kill onto Sergeant Miller. A 2-0 start for the Firelink 5.
And giving an Osiris lane pressure, that is a dangerous game, a hot fire that you're playing at that moment.
For sure, Sergeant Miller a little overzealous trying to chase down that kill on the Osiris, and Set was right there to make him pay.
I do like the engage from the Mercury, it just, at that level, there isn't that much follow-up.
For sure, not enough damage either coming from the Mercury early right now.
Mm. And we see him going into what I assume is going to be Crusher. He's going the Mace build. It's a very safe build. I've seen a lot of people go into the crit early, which doesn't give you any early game pressure.
For sure, looking for an early invade once again. Firelink 5, that's just really been the story of this set. And they will pick up the blue buff. Mercury will stun, but the beads will be used by Set, and he'll walk away free.
And they have a very good trade there. They didn't take too much damage that they can't just walk back into lane and get their farm.
Sure, and leads across the board already for the Firelink 5. This one is happening a lot faster than we saw last game. It was very close for the first 10-15 minutes.
And it all starts with that dual lane, first blood, just completely allowing the jungler to hold basically the solo lane mid jungle.
Sure, especially with, interesting to me, seeing the Soul getting out pressured both games here. Not something you always expect when you see that pick go through.
Well, last game it was a little bit better just because of that first kill, and then they got a couple of purples, but then the Apollo just got a level lead, and it just snowballed from there. But here, this Medusa's just running the show.
Sure, we're seeing everyone on the side of Firelink 5 ticking over to level 5. Will have their ultimates available for the next fight. Only the Tiamat so far for Band of Brothers. See pressure almost everywhere now because of this.
And another thing I really like about this team, the late game, is Osiris. If he hits that ult onto the Soul, that's a lot of healing negated out for the Soul.
It is, and we see the Mercury trying to engage onto this Osiris. Very low here. Ult charging, and will pick up the kill onto King Kerbis. That'll be the first kill of the game for Band of Brothers. We see Set coming over, maybe looking to clean up this King Arthur here. Throw down the 3, teleport the King Arthur out, comes out. The Morgan Le Fay coming over with the Fear. Set will pick up the kill on a Sergeant Miller, and the ult from Rubberman will pick up I Am Matt.
That was a very dangerous totem going without any vision on the other side of the jungle, not even at the totem. So you didn't see that Set coming when you came around that corner, and they get punished for it.
For sure, and realistically, the Tiamat probably should have been calling that the Morgan was on her way.
And look at
we'll see Set pick up the speed. Mercury trying to stun to maybe get away at half health already, though. Pop his stim. Set will teleport behind him, try to throw the 1. Doesn't connect, though. Still invading camps, even with the King Arthur in his face. This jungler for the Firelink 5 really just doesn't care. It might cost him here, though, and it will. Matt will pick up another kill, has both for the Band of Brothers.
The one thing I heard about this team from King Kerbis himself is they like the W key. They like the W key pretty hard.
I did hear that a lot. We're not seeing them step off this gas pedal yet. Both games just invades.
I'd be interested to see if they don't start leaking out the solo laner into the enemy jungle just to help with those invades and to see that he doesn't get caught out as easily.
For sure, and we're seeing the Osiris pick up the Death's Toll into the Berserker's Shield. A little bit different of a build than more traditional solos will go nowadays.
I like Death's Toll quite a bit on a few characters. I don't know about on Osiris. He's got the cleave, so it does make sense. But Warrior's Axe just feels really good on him.
See if it works out for him. He is going for the auto tag build with the Berserker's Shield early.
And I think it's interesting to look at this Arthur with the Rune Forged. I'm trying to think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it only gets procced on his X in blue state.
Seeing Mercury here, the Medusa ult will come out. Mercury not stunned by it though. Set teleporting on top. Fenrir ult comes out. Set will pick up I Am Matt. Fenrir looking low in the middle of 4 members of Firelink 5. Tiamat coming over just to try to ease pressure. Set still W queuing at the Soul who's in her to separate. Turning on the Tiamat now who will leap away. And now a 2-0 trade for the Firelink 5.
Yeah, this Morgan Le Fay is just out-rotated him flat out, and it's getting pretty rough for the side lanes.
Uptown for King Kerbis on the Osiris won't connect though. King Arthur now just Beyblading himself away. trying to pick up the kill. The tether will come through though for King Kerbis, and he will pick up the solo kill onto Sergeant Miller into that solo lane.
Oh, that was beautiful. The tether just saving him and getting him that kill. Cooldown's just not favoring the King Arthur at this moment.
Sure, we're seeing this Medusa play at the tower line now of the soul.
It just got so much pressure in these side lanes. They're gonna start exerting some of that pressure and going towards the mid, and that'll be interesting to see how that develops.
Yes, different from last game, we're seeing now just an overall domination of the map. We switch over to mid lane here with some fighting. It will leap away. The Morgan Le Fay will come out and will be enough to pick up Masamune. Fenrir now leaping away, trying to keep himself alive.
Yeah, that I don't know what he was up there for. He's just really far behind at this point. 2 levels down. It's hard to get farm at this point, so I think he's just got to play back a little bit more there.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely not looking good early for the Band of Brothers. I wouldn't say they're entirely out of it, but it will be an uphill battle from here on out. Most objectives will seem to be fairly free for the Firelink 5, as opposed to last game, where they were at least even enough when we saw Band of Brothers sneak the Gold Fury, the first one of the game.
Yep, and they did it without any ward coverage from Firelink, and it seemed to kick Firelink into warding a lot more. Another interesting thing is that was...
Enter ult and the Soul ult now coming out on the Medusa, trying to stun. Will get it onto Soul, and it might be enough peel for the Medusa to get out. I don't know how. I can't believe that she didn't die there.
That was really good mechanics from her. The beads from the Soul was a little bit late. She was in that statue state for a little bit, but just insane escape from that.
For sure.
Who's been impressing 2 games in a row. Remember, she was down the previous game at the start as Apollo, and snuck a 2-level lead somehow out of that.
Yes, for sure. Not having that problem this game. We're seeing, once again, this Firelink 5 team just living in the jungle of Band of Brothers right now.
That 2 ability, the fear, just did so much to Mercury right there.
Sure, we're seeing Firelink now pull this Gold Fury. It should be relatively free. Set and Osiris now just W King at the TMN will pick up the kill. Fenrir's forced to leap away, and that'll be a Gold Fury for the Firelink 5.
Good job by the Sol getting as much farm without any pressure from that Medusa as she can, because at this point, stepping out of tower has got to be very dangerous.
For sure. Medusa now 2 levels up. Everybody now 2 levels up except for the tanks.
And a 5,000 gold lead at 10 minutes.
This is not looking good. They're becoming a slippery slope, some would say, for this Band of Brothers. And Medusa getting aggressive in the jungle of the Band of Brothers will pick up the solo kill onto Dr. Toddles.
Just before that evaporate can even go through.
Just too much damage, too far ahead is the Medusa. And nothing really the Soul could do.
I don't know how good their comeback potential is. I do like the Mercury late game, especially if he goes into crits, which he is. But Set late game, that's a scary thing.
Set now W King again at Mercury's speed buff all alone, not really seeing a rotation. Mercury's gonna look to ult, will stun the Set out. Set does pick up the speed buff. Still no real rotation. Soul's now coming up in mid as we're seeing a fight break out. Fenrir at half health. Morgan at half health. We see the Kepri ult used maybe a bit early. Set still in the jungle by the speed buff over there trying to get this Mercury.
He just has so much jungle pressure.
Mercury with the blink now. The one will miss. The Osiris will come in and ult, and Set will pick up the kill on the IM Mat. So many rotations from Firelink 5. Really no answer by Band of Brothers. The King Arthur ult will pick up Rubberman. King Arthur's now alone, though. Beyblading his way, hopefully out of trouble.
Yeah, it's good to pick up that kill early, not early, but refrag on that, because that Osiris rotation was very good, even though it didn't really affect the change of that fight.
For sure. Now we're seeing Set, who I am Matt was unable to pick up before the Osiris rotated over. Now 5-1. Really just doing everything he can to put his team ahead in this one.
And it took a lot for him to die before. If you remember, he was all the way down at the speed, stealing XP camps while getting attacked by 2 people.
Right. And this Mercury now picking up the Rage. This far behind might be tough for him to find those Rage stacks. Interesting he didn't go a different direction based off of the flow of this one. Around 6k about already. And it's not looking, as of right now, that they can really do anything about it to stop the snowball.
Yeah, at this point, I would have probably gone into an Atlantis bow, because then you get the guaranteed crits and you don't have to stack it. Plus, you get a little bit of extra sustain while you're in it.
Plus the attack speed, something that Mercury is a big fan of. I would agree. Seeing the Soul Leader now picked up 3rd for the set, stacking item 3rd.
Yeah, that build is just a dangerous one, because also Soul Eater does give that percent pen, so now he's going to be able to stick to the frontliners. Runeforge is going to be taking away protections and increasing his damage. It's just a very dangerous build, especially comboing that with Yokes, which I assume he's going into the lifesteal virtue.
Yes, for sure. And the beads now from the Tiamat underneath his tier 1 tower was just the Kepri root, no real threat. Kind of leaves me a little puzzling that one. Now the bees are down for future fight.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, at this point, this Morgan Le Fay is doing basically true damage to backliners.
For sure. We've seen the Pyromancer picked up now for Firelink 5. They will leash it now for a second. The Kepri root onto the King Arthur. Fenrir will leap away. The King Arthur ult now out onto the Osiris, I believe. There's still just W King at this King Arthur in the jungle, and another kill for this set. Doing everything he can in these team fights. The Merc ult comes through, hits 3 of them. The Fenrir ult won't pick anybody up to bring him under tower, though. Morgan Le Fay a little poked out in the back. Other than that, though, Firelink 5 seem to be okay. Set will teleport into this tier 1 here, trying to pick up another kill. Medusa ult comes through the back line. Fenrir will leap away. And the tier 1 will fall now for the Band of Brothers. Firelink 5 with all the pressure set again with the teleport on the Mercury will pick up the kill on I Am Mad. Tiamat now half health. Constant fighting. The Kepri ult was used on the set there. Wow.
How many times did Set dive the tower and still have half health?
He initiated it. The Osiris wasn't even in there with him. He was tanking tower shots too, and the Pyromancer is free. Just so far ahead now, this Firelink 5 team. They can just do anything they want, and they're showing it.
Yeah, they're going to take objectives freely around this map right now. There's not much Band of Brothers can do. They just got to sit back and hope that they can find a way back into this game. Hopefully the Fenrir can grab somebody of value and try to get a pick that is very necessary.
Yes.
4 levels down for the Mercury, by the way.
Yeah, not looking good. Still 0 stacks.
9,000
rage. 9,000 damage for the set. Just really putting the team on its back. All their jungle pressure just created through them, even in considerably bad lane matchups for pressure. Just doing everything right now.
Props to this Arthur, though, for being second to damage. He's trying all he can to get in these team fights and help out, but it's just his team's too far behind, and at this point, he's too far behind to help too much.
For sure, even at 1 and 4, just trying to do what he can here, but really, Band of Brothers just has to hope for a mistake by Firelink 5. If it's played perfectly, I don't know if there's much they can do. Not over till they kill that Titan for sure, but it's going to take a lot.
Yes. And just looking at this set, 9 kill participation. That's insane at this point in the game.
Fenrir leaping in. Firelink will still secure and pick up the kill onto the Fenrir. I am Matt will go down to Kiki Cheeky. Still just W King. The Set now turns onto the Tiamat, who doesn't have a leap up. Set will pick up the kill. And it's a 3-for-0 plus the Fire Giant trade for the Firelink 5. And they're looking at this right lane.
Honestly, I don't think Saul should have rotated over there. I think she should have pushed her lane a little bit, got as much golden XP as she can. Because there's no way you can defend these two towers with
No.
just two people against this.
Even them right now, you're seeing the Separate already come out not wanting the Set to teleport onto her. And this tower is just getting, well, I would say it's getting deleted. Now it is by the Firelink 5.
And they got such good objective clear with that Medusa and Set. They're gonna tear through any tower, any Phoenix. Especially since King Kerberos is going into an auto attack based build.
For sure, it'd be interesting to see. We do see actually a Shogun's picked up by the Khepri, just helping all of their attack speed. And it's not looking great. Now they're heading over to that left lane, most likely to pick up those two towers. Maybe a reset.
Yeah, and this duel lane, it's insanely impressive. I think this is the second game. I do not remember, but I do not think he died on the Ganesha last game. So I think he's gone 2 games without a single death.
Just insane right now. And this Fenrir, you know, typically you pick that for the pressure pick in the dual lane, want to get some early kills. But from behind right now, not really as tanky as you'd like from a traditional Guardian or even a Warrior as an Assassin.
And I think that stems back down to they hit level 2 first. So when Fenrir jumped in to get the minions, he just got insta-melted at the start.
For sure, we're seeing a 4-level lead for this mid laner, 4 for the jungle, 5 for the ADC. It's
a runaway right now, but they do have a chance to bring it back. They do have a strong late game comp outside of the Fenrir, in my opinion. But the Fenrir is still late game excellent at picking up.
see the Fenrir and ult now onto the Osiris, but Set's coming in. They might even just 2v3 this. The King Arthur all coming out of Set. Set's still going for it though. We even see Soul over here, and now finally it looks like a backpedal. No, Set's still going. Teleports on the 4 people, picks up the kill on the I Am Mad. Fenrir has to leap away. Osiris is now in there. The Soul ult will pick up the Set. The tether will hit the King Arthur and the beads will be used, but we see the split push come through to get this left Phoenix. King Arthur and Soul, Tiamat trying to kill this Osiris, so tanky. They're not doing any damage to him right now. They're just going for the end on the left, just Fenrir here to try to defend Osiris, not trying to let him back. And they finally pick up the King Kerberos here. And it looks like Firelink 5 will retreat as everyone from Band of Brothers gets back to base. That Titan now being able to reset was at about half health. That was a nuts turn of events, Pestus.
Can we just say, White Hombre has big he's going into any fight, 1v3 doesn't matter. He is going to dominate.
Still top damage on the Set. Only, I'm saying only about 15,000 here, but
it feels like a lot more.
he's doing it all. It even looked like he turned around for a second. It looked like they were finally gonna take their hand off the W key.
Yeah,
And it just
fake him out.
turned it immediately. Amazing.
And this is 2 games in a row. If you recall last game, he was just living in the jungle. He's just creating so much pressure for this team where it just feels like Band of Brothers has been on the back foot, even if they are winning certain objectives. If you look at it last game, they got that sneaky Gold Fury early and still were down a significant margin in gold.
Yeah, I believe they were down 2k at that point, got the Gold Fury to kind of even it up, and then after that, we're just simply out-farmed. Firelink 5 picked up the Pyromancer. I don't think we've really seen even a contest from Band of Brothers onto any other objective in the entire set.
Fight, yeah. With a Mercury ulting in, but
Set now soloing the Pyromancer, just a testament to what this set has done the entire game. Invading the Scorpion now here. It's all Firelink 5 right now. Maybe
And
setting up for the Fire Giant just to secure the win.
I think everyone in future games has to look at this set and go, we can't allow this.
Have to shut this jungler down. We finally see only one stack onto Mercury's Rage. Definitely not helping their cause. A little scuffle going on here around the Fire Giant, but a retreat that not a lot of fighting coming from Mana Brothers.
No.
They're ready to back up. Osiris
Let
just,
this FG go, yeah.
yes, Firelink just destroying it. Not gonna be enough time for King Arthur to get there, and they're looking to turn on him if he can't. And the tether will come out. The will connect for the stun. The Kepri root. King Arthur at about half health. Now the Tangling Wings, one of the new relics we're seeing. Set chasing this Fenrir, 1v2ing in mid lane. Will teleport to avoid the bite. Oh my goodness, still at basically full health after 1v2, and Kiki Jiki will pick up Sergeant Miller on that right side finally. So now it's a 5v4 plus Fire Giant. I think Firelink can really start looking for this end. Maybe get this right Phoenix, force a fight, and just push this fight.
See the damage numbers real quick?
Tiamat getting blown up. Kiki Jiki picking up Dr. Toddles. Kepriot will go out on the back. Osiris ult now chasing down this Mercury.
Oh
And
no.
this is going to be game here. Firelink 5 just dominating this game 2. Not the story we saw in game 1, really.
I want to give props to that King Arthur. He was involved in everything that Band of Brothers could do.
For sure. Just what a showing by the Firelink 5. What a way to open this season. That'll be the set 2-0.
Dominant.
We will be right back.
We'll be right back with the desk.
And we are back. It was the finale to that. I was almost expecting them to take Titan there at that 2v5 from that 2v5 on the right side. Firelink coming out super strong the entirety of that match.
Yeah, definitely a very impressive showing with King Kerberos and White Ombre deciding to hold off the rest of the team while Kiki Jiki, the rubber man and 12-inch Tomahawk decided to push down that Titan. But it almost worked, you know, but unfortunately Fenrir was able to back and defend that. But yeah, no, definitely a very dominant showing by the Firelink 5 for game 2 on a completely different team comp.
Yep, that jungler, forget his name, excuse me, but I believe it was Hombre, yes. But he did end up getting a jungler that I was suggesting he should pick up, something that allows him to run the map by himself, you know, play a little bit selfish if he wants to, but mainly just run the map, invade, take solo fights. A character that kind of can do almost anything he wants, provided he has the space and the pressure to do so. And Set is definitely a character that once ahead runs the game for free. And he did show that he was able to run it to that expectation. Really well played from him.
Yeah, we definitely saw that with the early kill in Soul Lane. That's on that King Arthur, and that basically was the foundation of the set's snowball. And we also saw an early first blood over in the dual lane, Kiki Jiki picking up the Fenrir as a first kill, and basically setting Band of Brothers on the back foot for pretty much the entire early game and then the rest of the game. So yeah, just a very great job maintaining that lead throughout the game, farming up these objective calls. They're really, really nice. They really leave no room really for Band of Brothers to attempt to go in and steal. Definitely very well played.
And also, again, to touch on that duo lane, both games they drafted pressure, like very heavy pressure between the Horus, Soul both games. Horus and Fenrir for support respectively. Did not get much value, if at all, out of it, whereas Firelink drafted more so like this mid to backline support between Kepri and Ganesha, and then I'd say more scaling ADCs. We had an Apollo come first game. Medusa second game. Those characters definitely aren't the most potent early. Apollo can do quite a lot if you give them the space, but it do feel like they kind of come into their own per se.
Mhm.
Come around the mid game when we get their first 2 items pick. They got away with it with pretty much free. They got that first pick on the support, got to just run the lane even without the jungle coming over.
I definitely
Quite
feel like
perfect.
that comes down to in duo lane. When that first wave meets, you got to know that once that first wave is cleared, whoever cleared it first is hitting level 2, and then now they have pressure. They have an extra ability, you don't. So I think it's just recognizing for Band of Brothers, oh, I can't clear faster than these guys. I should back off and give them pressure because I can't clear the wave that fast. And if I don't do that, it might be a first blood.
Definitely a playstyle thing as well. Maybe their support isn't accustomed to playing some of these pressure picks, or not into the way that Firelink was playing at least. Maybe they'd have to alternate their playstyle, pick up some more backline supports. Atlas was open, I believe, for
Oh, no.
the
100% ban rate.
he was available to be open. They could have left some bans, forced them to ban differently, or Firelink, excuse me, force Firelink to ban differently. Try to force Atlas to be open, so definitely a more mid to backline support. There's I believe I mentioned even at picks and bans, Ganesha was open.
Yeah, Ganesha would have been a great pick against this Capri.
Khepri and Set keeping both characters from casting at all. It's also just a much more backline tank.
Yeah, so we have a very special treat for you guys with us. We have King Kerbis, the solo laner for the Firelink 5, for a quick little interview. What's going on, King Kerbis?
Not much, guys. Just listening to you guys cast and sit on the desk. Sounds wonderful.
Very cool, very cool. So what was the so we saw the first game was the chalk with the transcendence and the damage. Is that just more of a playstyle thing? Are you like more of a damage shot kind of guy rather than a breastplate of valor rusher type deal?
I am definitely. I like going trans. Shock benefits a lot by his power. Scaling affects his healing. That's kind of where the brains behind that was. But going into the third item, I had the choice to go a breastplate or dive completely into that damage build. And old school shock me just wants to build pure damage, so I figured I'd give it a shot. Paid off a little bit.
Definitely
Well, it
just touching
certainly
in the
did.
first game, but that second game, however, what was going through your head when you and your set buddy were sitting over in that soul lane, taking 5 people on and still managing to get quite a few picks off of it?
All I was saying was, you better be pushing right lane and going to end.
They did try. I believe they got tightened around 3k HP. They did have to pull off though as the Fenrir came back.
Yeah, it basically was at a situation where both Set and I were in that lane even before the 5v1 happened, and it just kind of came down to, if we can make them stay here, they lose a Phoenix, and then it was like, hey, if I can make them stay longer, they lose the game. So we tried. We didn't get it, but we at least were able to rally off of it with the Phoenix and still, net positive from it in my mind.
Definitely must be a bit of a damper on the moral, seeing 2 people hold down your entire team like that. Such a
Yeah,
cool
and I
at that point as well.
would have died quite a bit quicker, but thankfully that tether on 5 people adds a lot of mitigation, and that last second stun just adds a little bit longer survivability with death toll. So it was fun to 1v5. I haven't done that in a long time. Didn't get a kill, but it was still fun.
Yeah, and I have to ask, we saw Band of Brothers, they banned out the Odin first pick both times. Are you cracked on Odin?
No, I'm not cracked on Odin. I'm guessing that's probably just a meta pick or something that they're not comfortable with themselves. Our bans were definitely targeted towards that team. Surgeon Miller is one of his best picks for sure, is that tier, so we wanted to take that away, and Heimdall is just a really good pick. We're just trying to force them onto not necessarily their first picks, but see what their second and third were to try to make them a little bit more uncomfortable.
Sounds like you guys had a very good strategy going in, and it definitely paid off game 1 and game 2. So, yeah.
It was it was a lot of fun. We had a really good game. The first game, like my guys said, at that Fire Giant, had we lost, it probably would have gone the other way. So it was a really close game there.
Quite the match to enjoy. I loved watching that fight at the end in the second game. Just I don't know. I have to keep touching back on it. It was so funny to watch.
You did a really
I
good
like
job zoning too.
I like him in the meta. I'm happy that he's back in the meta, and as long as Death Toll and Berserker Shield are going to be around, I'll be playing him quite a bit. I hope.
I'm looking forward to seeing more of you.
All right, sounds good. So that'll be the end of this stream. Firelink 5 versus Band of Brothers. Firelink 5 win 2-0. So come check us out. We got some great streams coming up later on in the week. Just be sure to check out the Discord. Links in the description. Follow us on Twitch. And yeah, look for the announcements for the next stream. The next game will be Friday at 6 and 6 p.m. CST. And it is going to be, let me double check on this. It's going to be an interesting game, that's for sure. It's going to be Five Guys, More Fries versus HNC. So we'll see you there.